Hey everyone, thanks for being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMA session. Today we have ModulX with us. ModulX is set out to implement an innovative trading concept which helps reduce the need to sell tokens, drive trading across multiple partner liquidity pairs, and incentivize volume, which ultimately benefits everyone involved, including partners and investors. With that, I'd like to welcome Elijah. Great to have you here, brother. If you can start out introducing yourself, talk about your team, and give us a bit of insight on your background and experience.
For sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Elijah. I am the founder and the owner of ModulX. I have been in the crypto space specifically a year and a half, but I have been investing for around 3. I started off with SafeMoon, and basically when SafeMoon was supposed to have their wallet come out, and the date got pushed back, that made me obviously realize keeping your word is a very strong thing in the crypto community. And over time, basically learned that DeFi is definitely a way of life, for sure. I enjoy the DeFi space and all the communities that they bring. I'm usually on my phone a lot. You guys can easily get a hold of me by just adding me in a majority of group chats that we share. Besides that, I'm, like I said, the owner of ModulX. The team, I don't have any specific team members. I'm actually working with big teams as like RocketFi. I've talked to Big Burn Reflect. We are in plans to talk to Affinity as well. So like I said, it's just basically going to be over time, we're going to be bringing in more members specifically for ModulX, but we're having help from a couple other teams for that sense. The next thing, basically, I can go off a little bit into the token just to skim everything. ModulX started off actually as RocketFi Reflect, and the idea of RocketFi Reflect was basically to bring volume into RocketFi, and to help with the rewards as well. It rewarded in RocketFi, but as the token and the contract evolved, we wanted to be able to bring more projects into this, and that basically turned it into ModulX. The name is actually derived from the part module, means constructed in similar size, or with similar units for flexibility and variety of use. The X, the name is a variable, since X is usually stands for a variable. So that's basically how we got the idea of ModulX. Like I said, me personally, I wanted to be able to bring in multiple projects that are bullish and continue to keep the DeFi space connected. I enjoy when projects work together, and I enjoy when they work with the community as well. So that's one goal and one strive I definitely have for the project as well. I'll start talking a little bit about the project. Basically, ModulX is gonna be a modular token, or an intermediate token. The goal of ModulX is basically to be able to create multiple liquidity pairs across multiple different projects. We'll do this on launch, and we'll also save some tokens as well, so we can make those more liquidity pairs after launch, so we're not just limited to the ones we have from launch. Basically, like I said, having these liquidity pairs is going to allow people to trade across these liquidity pairs, and we have a couple incentives to help with incentivizing trading across these liquidity pairs as well, which I'll get into in one moment. Those liquidity pairs will allow us to basically get rid of, well, not necessarily get rid of, but not have BNB be necessary in between. For example, if you trade RocketFi for Affinity, usually there's a token in between, like the Pancake or Cake token or BNB. Basically, instead of it being one of those two, it'll be ModulX. Blockchains pick the best path when you use direct liquidity pairs, and majority or not, ModulX would be a path that the blockchain would definitely take. one reason or one incentive that we have for trading across these liquidity pairs is a variable buy and sell tax. The tax for ModulX is actually 7%. There's going to be no transfer tax at all. We'll have some type of vesting for the pre-sellers, but I'll get into that because we're going to do that a little bit different, so to benefit everybody and to also benefit the project and the partner projects that we have with those liquidity pairs off launch. The tokenomics breakdown is 25% RocketFi Smart Reflections, which is broken down into 3 different pools. 10% general Smart Rewards RocketFi royalty, a 5% RocketFi pool, 5% ModulX pool, and 5% rotating partner pool. We'll also have 40% dual rewards, which will be RocketFi and BNB rewards or the rotating partner. You will also be able to reinvest these rewards as well, which I can also get. I'll be more in depth in a minute or two. There will also be something called a swap gamification pool, and there will be a 15% tax for marketing. The daily gamification pool actually, like I said, it's going to be a daily thing. Everyone gets a chance to win the partner native token. And basically, the way they do that is by trading across those direct liquidity pairs. You get one chance every 24 hours, but when whoever wins that pool will gain the tax, that 20% gamification pool, and basically win it. So that incentivizes just trading on those liquidity pairs in general. I'll get the variable buy and sell tax. Was something it was actually not initially in the RocketFi Reflect idea, but like I said, as everything evolved, it made more sense to be able to have something like this. And basically, for all holders using BNB to trade, regardless of the amount of RocketFi they hold, it has no transfer tax, right? The tax percentage decreases with increased holdings of these liquidity pairs. So, for example, if you hold 10 million RocketFi, it'll go from a 7% buy and sell tax to a 6% buy and sell tax. 50 million would be a 5% buy and sell tax. Like 100 million would be 4%. 250 million would be 3%. 500 million would be 2%, and 1 billion would be 1%. These percentage breakdowns will be a little bit different for majority of tokens, just because the tokens work differently. Their contracts are different, so we would have to basically make a deal on the percentages with majority of these partners and majority of the liquidity pairs to benefit both our token and the partners as well. The partners in the liquidity pairs that we're thinking about having off of launch are so we're going to have Tyrant, we're going to have Ying and Reflect. We were thinking about VBR, but we don't know if we can have VBR yet because they're thinking about a version 2. Affinity, BNB, and there's also going to be a couple of stable coins and blue chip tokens. So like BUSD, for example, XRP as well. By the way, you guys can stop me at any point if you guys have any questions. There's a lot of information on this token, and I know it's a lot of information to take in as well.
Yeah, so Elijah, before we go on, I think you briefly touched on how you can incentivize people to participate in this liquidity pool. Can you elaborate on that? Because it seems like you can start out with a bunch of pools. And how do you ensure that there's enough liquidity in there? And what are the ways that you will use to incentivize people to partake in the liquidity pool?
For sure. So the liquidity pools are going to be pairings that we have, like how RocketFi is paired to BNB, or majority of tokens on Binance Smart Chain are just paired to BNB. We're going to have ModulX connected to these other tokens, and we're going to use the seed sale funds basically to connect to these liquidity pairs. The numbers that we chose for the private sale or the public and private sale, basically we have a 35 cap for the private pre-sale. Then we have a 50 soft cap for the public pre-sale and 150 BNB hard cap for the public pre-sale. And what that basically, because we're going to use only 95%, we're going to use 95% of the seed sale raised for liquidity. So that these liquidity pairs are not going to be small numbers, and they're not going to have only like $500 to $1,000 inside of them each pair. We want these pairs to be effective, and we want these pairs to be efficient. So we're going to try to make sure that basically all BNB raised is going to go towards that. I'm personally using my funds right now, my personal funds, to pay for things like advertising, like AMAs and billboards. So I'm not using the marketing wallet until after launch. Like I said, I'll be using my personal funds from now, just so we can make sure there's going to be more liquidity in each pair. I'll touch up on that. You asked basically how to keep these people how to keep the investors more likable to the liquidity pairs. Having these liquidity pairs also adds arbitrage opportunities. Basically, you're going to be able to arbitrage, and the more liquidity pairs means the more opportunities you can arbitrage on. Basically, doing that, it's going to add volume to the token, so it's going to increase the rewards as well. This token is actually not necessarily meant to be held. It has rewards, so obviously you can hold it, but it is incentivized to be traded, especially across these liquidity pair pools. One second. Another way that we're basically going to have these liquidity pair pools incentivized. We're going to have something a little bit after launch called liquidity insertion. It's going to be our form of staking, and what I can't go fully in depth about what it's going to do, but it's basically going to allow you to lock your tokens up like normal, like a staking pool, and you basically would be adding those tokens to the liquidity pool for a certain amount of time, or until you decide to withdraw it. It's gonna having people add money to the liquidity pool is also going to increase arbitrage opportunity, which increases volume, and it's also going to increase how much the token is backed up by. So the price fluctuation will be a lot less. So far, before I go a little bit more in depth about some of the tokenomics, do you have any questions yet?
So you did mentions that affinity, right? Affinity and RocketFi, is that correct? Now, and BBR, Bitburn Reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those are the three projects that you're thinking of partnering up with. Is that correct?
Yes. It's Tyrant, Ying and Reflect, BBR, and Affinity.
Yeah, I mean, I think now Affinity. I think that Affinity is a great project. I think we've done an AMA with actually all three of them, I believe. RocketFi probably a year ago. I think Affinity has a great future. Now, my question is, with these projects here, Elijah, that maybe currently right now that they may not have any volume. So, do you think tying your project ModulX to this project where I know your objectives to drive volume for them and get reflected, whatever. But looking at the current situation right now, let's say people are listening right now, like, I mean, these projects, they don't have a lot of volume to begin with. How are you gonna, I guess, ensure do anything different with your project, and it's gonna be impactful to drive the volume?
Yeah,
especially when it's so slow right now.
I'll actually get into just the vesting part. I'll let you know, obviously, more information on the rest of that question. But the vesting alone, we're gonna have is gonna be we're not gonna allow people to trade across certain liquidity pairs, which is basically gonna be like stable coin blue chip tokens. We actually want them to. We're actually going to allow them to trade across those liquidity pairs for our partner tokens. So if they want to be able to sell, what they have to do is they have to trade, say, for example, they'll trade from ModulX Affinity, and them, if they, let's say they hold a certain amount of Affinity, they can take advantage of that buy and sell tax. It's lowered, but if they hold no Affinity, it'll basically be a 7% buy and sell tax. You trade for Affinity. Like I said, it'll give Affinity the buy pressure, and then if they decided to sell out, it would also give them sell pressure as well. But it would keep the token bouncing up and down in neutral because it added volume from a buy and a sell, not just a sell. So that's going to benefit not just ModulX, keeping the keeping the sell pressure lower, but that's also going to benefit our partner tokens on launch as well, or even it's around the first month we're going to have this feature in. So the pre-sellers were able to trade normally after that first month, just across BNB and across the BUSD pool or across XRP pool. But they're basically going to have, they're not going to be capable for the first month. Another way about that volume is, I guess, the daily gamification pools. Those daily gamification pools is going to allow people to trade back and forth. It's not just going to be they're not just from buys. You can also win when you sell. So it's going to incentivize trading the token back and forth to get that one ticket. I actually have a couple ideas to be able to add a couple more tickets or a couple more chances. But obviously, like I said, I can't really put that out there yet. But like I said, the daily gamification pool is basically going to be one way we're going to incentivize across the liquidity pairs, bringing volume not just to ModulX, but it'll also bring volume to those partner tokens. So because, like I said, daily it's going to be buying those tokens for the daily gamification pool. So it's going to be swapping every 24 hours, basically for that partner pool. We're going to have that partner pool switch out for the daily gamification pool once a month, so it allows basically the investors to and obviously me as a team to be capable of getting wisdom and actually getting like a friendship throughout the partnership. Having a quick partnership like a 2-week or 1 week, I feel would be too short, and it doesn't really promote a partner project. So I feel like a 1 month switch out would be the best option. You're also going to be able to reinvest your rewards, which will bring volume back into the project as well. So overall, you'll basically be able to reinvest your rewards. It's for tax-free ModX, RocketFi, or the partner feature token, which will also, like I said, bring volume to all three of those subjects: the ModX, RocketFi, and the partner token as well. In the future, I have actually been thinking about a game, which this is still something that is in the idea phase right now. But it's basically going to be similar to how Incinerator has their game Doing a Burn, but it will be a Tetris concept that will basically have a buyback. Which the token supply is only 1,000 tokens, which means off launch it's going to be already above the dollar value. And basically, let's say at like 20 million market cap, it should be like a $20,000 token. And another main goal is basically to make a token that can rival Bitcoin's price. And just having something that can rival Bitcoin's price would be advertising in itself. Yeah. So far, is there any other question that you have?
Yeah, I think the overall concept, I get it. I think I understand what you're trying to achieve here. Yeah, it's going to be have you thought about the price impact? So let's say BBR or RocketFi reflects affinity. I know that you're fronting or you're using 95% of the raised money for the liquidity. But you think that's going to be enough where it will not affect, especially when you're doing like 3-4 different pools at the same time? You think you have enough capital or enough coins from both for the pair to ensure that the price impact is not going to be great?
I understand what you're saying. So actually, the reason why we're not going to be for these like liquidity pairs, like any token basically that has a small cap, we wouldn't be adding any liquidity to those tokens because that would make it so if someone bought or sold, it would fluctuate way too much, and we basically don't want too much fluctuation. We don't want too much volatility to be just going up and down like that. So we actually are picking specific projects that have a liquidity ratio So instead of just looking at the liquidity pool that they have, and they have $100,000 in their liquidity pool, we'll connect to them. We're trying to figure out who's the best option out of all the bullish projects. For example, I actually have some breakdowns. I'd have to go through my notes. I have breakdowns of the percentages for individual projects, basically, from like a week ago. And like, for example, BBR had a 54% ratio. So 54% of their market cap was backed by their liquidity. And that obviously would decrease the fluctuation and volatility that we have, especially from any sell pressure, which will give us a stable floor and basically help with the price floor. The private sellers are basically going to be handpicked, and adding that vesting period is going to basically help with having another solid floor. So keeping those liquidity pair pools basically at a high value would obviously be a goal, and bringing more liquidity into these pools would obviously back the pool more, decreasing the likelihood of the prices fluctuating up and down. Basically, like I said, having multiple liquidity pairs, we want to make sure that they aren't just going to be a couple $100 liquidity pairs, because they would fluctuate too much and it wouldn't really be impactful for arbitrage opportunities, which arbitraging increases volume and adds rewards, basically more of the token. So the bigger these liquidity pool pairs are separately, the more arbitrage opportunities there are going to be in every pool separately as well. Basically, what that's going to do, if we have let's say, for example, 50 tokens, and every token's like $10, it's $500. If we put that into the liquidity pair off a launch, and we like had liquidity all added, and it went up to, let's say, $5,000, that would be definitely a lot more impactful. But we're basically going to take the BNB raised and do break down these portions, like say like 15% or 20% or 30% for these around 7 to 9 liquidity pairs, so that the BNB raise is going to be impactful for us. We want to make sure that every liquidity pair that we have is not going to be a weak link to us, because every liquidity pair is actually going to have their own price point. And on launch, we're going to have a D app to be able to watch these price points as well. And another option you can do is trade across those liquidity pairs on that D app. But like I said, there's going to be multiple price points, and we have all the calculations of the D app done. So there will be an overall price for ModX, and there will also be multiple different price points for ModX depending on where you're trading at. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. I think I get it. I think the concern would be if there isn't, as far as arbitrage go, right? So I think the investors may have to, or the trader may have to consider the price impact as well, right? Sometimes the price is not really, depending on the liquidity pool that you have, right? So the price is not really, it's not what you're gonna get if you sell in a very low liquidity pool,
exactly.
Right? So that's going to be a I guess a concern if people are not very familiar with it.
And actually, the game that I was talking about, the concept of the game that I was talking about, a percentage of the tax would go to all the liquidity pairs. So every liquidity pair that we would have created, it would just be broken down and like evenly across every single one. Like it's a concept, so all of these things are subject to change, but that's going to be a main idea to help grow volume for the rewards, to grow the liquidity pairs, and also to burn the supply to make everything more scarce. We've also talked about other utility. Like I said, I'm not going to be capable of saying as many as I would like. Another thing we have talked about, which I brought up a little bit earlier, were NFTs, but they're on the table, but we haven't really decided whether we're going to do any NFTs. Just wanted to bring up the concept because the contract for this token is completely upgradable, so we don't have to do a relaunch. It's a non-proxy contract as well, so trying to make the contract as safe as possible is a goal for us. We're testing it every day basically, and the testing is actually going really well. We're on the test net so far, and making sure everything is clean. And basically, that is one goal of ours, is to make sure everything comes together clean and comes together well tested as well. We don't want to put out anything that's rushed, because obviously we have seen what happens to multiple different projects for rushing their utilities, and amazing projects have fallen just because they didn't really watch what they were doing, and they didn't make sure their code was safe. So that is one main goal that we're going to have. And another one is actually being driven community. So those monthly featured rewards, I wanted to be able to have the community choose those, maybe put a poll up of throughout the month or at the end of the month, and just figure out where everyone is and what everyone really wants, because some people's answers change. And I know things happen in the community or the crypto space. So definitely want to be able to have a couple polls. I'm also thinking about having semi-weekly AMAs, just so I can keep everybody up to date and keep everything updated. I want people to be in the loop, so I'm very transparent. I'm not KYC or doxed, but that is definitely a plan of mine, to be getting KYC and doxed. I just have to, like I said, I'm using it with my personal funds, so probably going to get within the next 2 weeks, just to add more security for the investors. Sooner or later, we'll have external audits by like InterFi and things like that, or different companies like that. So right now, we are technically audited by RocketFi, because RocketFi is basically, they are helping with the contracts full blown, and they are actually the ones that are helping me test it out and making sure everything is safe. That's so far. That's how the contract is almost done. Actually, the pre-sale contract that we have is finished. We're waiting for the pre-sale cap for us to hit the private sale cap, which is 35 BNB. We're at currently, last time I checked, I think it was 31.5 to 32. I'll recount it, but I'm pretty sure it's around 31, 32 for that private sale cap. So we're almost there for the private sale cap. Right after that, the public pre-sale address will be dropped, and anyone can invest to that, basically up to 1 BNB. The private sale is going to have a max contribution of 2 BNB, and the breakdown for the token is going to be 1 BNB for 2.5 tokens. So basically, we actually had an idea that we were going to have a max bag, and it was going to be 0.5%, so 5 tokens. So a private sale bag was basically going to get you a max bag. But now we actually scrapped that a little bit and changed it to a transaction limit, because we want whales, and we want big investors to be able to buy in as well, basically holding as much ModulX as they want to. But we wanted there to be something that would benefit the holders and benefit the investors, so we added that transaction limit. The transaction limit is actually the same percent as the old limit, is 0.5%. So people will only be able to trade 5%, 0.5%, which is 5 tokens every transaction. These actually can get taken off later in the process of launch, or not necessarily launch, but later in our project, because, like I said, the contract is fully upgradable, so we can take that portion out. Sooner or later, we can put a poll up and see how it will feel once all the liquidity pairs are maybe at, like, say, 100,000 or something. We can definitely do that. We'll just make a poll for it and have everyone decide on what's the best idea for them. I can actually talk more about the reinvesting portion. That's fine. I've not talked about that too much, actually. Basically, it's going to take advantage of our contract with rewards. You'll be able to reinvest your BNB back into the project further and that the D app will also on launch will basically be able to allow people to use the contract to the fullest, and they can track these rewards and have more control of their claiming as well. They wouldn't just have to watch and wait for the contract to send these rewards out. They can obviously manually claim these rewards as well or reinvest them. On launch, we're also going to have a RocketFi smart rewards pool. And if there's people here that don't know what RocketFi is a multi-reward token. You can pick up to 10 different rewards. They currently have 40, I think it's 42 reward choices. And they also have a swap coming out, which a lot of the technology that ModulX is using is also using these contracts. So it's basically going to be they're basically RocketFi contracts that got scraped and they're getting rebuilt up in a different sense. Like I said, RocketFi has more different smart reward pools, and think of ModulX as the liquidity version of RocketFi. So we'll have those pools like how RocketFi does, but it'll be like liquidity insertion and being diverse in those pools as well is going to add eyes to the project, which is another aspect that will basically auto advertise for us as well. You got questions about the reinvesting or the compounding thing I was doing with the smart rewards?
Oh, no, that's pretty clear there. Thanks, Elijah.
For sure. Another thing we can talk about, basically the pre-sale contract is actually going to, once the public contract fulfills, we'll be able to hit a button basically to launch a token, add liquidity pairs at the same time as airdropping the token as well. So that's going to help with not having bots basically get in and ruin the chances or ruin the liquidity. Not let's say ruin, but we wanted the best price for the airdrops pre-sellers. So we wanted to make sure everything is going to be simultaneous. And any BNB that you send to this address that is going to be dropping soon, if it's above the limit, it will be reverted back to you. So for example, if you send one BNB and it's a public sale, the max contribution for the public is 1. So if you send 1.1 BNB, it'll send you back 0.1 BNB, but take the rest of the 1 BNB for you. So basically you can oversend it, and it's just going to fill to the max, and then it's going to send you whatever it couldn't add back. That's just basically going to make it more smooth and make it so we can actually focus on a lot of things. Having the contract take care of these simultaneously will take more off to be able to take care, make sure everything that we're doing, like during launch or before launch and even after launch, goes smooth. So that is actually just the pre-sale contracts that we personally made. The contract creator hasn't been announced yet, but we are actually going to announce him on launch day, just so we can bring. We don't want people to only invest because of the contract, because the contract creator. We actually want people to we want to love ModulX, and we want people to be one of their favorite projects. So obviously, with that, we have to make sure everything is transparent and everything is open as possible. If anyone asks me questions personally, answer it. Well, I'm not going to dodge anything for you guys. Like I said, I can even turn my. I was thinking about it. I was actually going to turn my camera on, just so I can dox myself here and there. I enjoy letting people dox me a little bit, just so I can have more trust throughout the space. I do enjoy being in other communities. That is actually another reason why ModulX is going to be something that can be connected to multiple different projects, because it basically reflects my personality more of, and it's going to allow me to basically connect with the community more and bring in bullish projects to basically help them out, because there'll be no negative benefit in these partner projects. Make a pool with them, it's basically all benefits on their side. They are just basically getting given BNB for the liquidity pool, increasing how much their volatility, decreasing how much their volatility would be, and overall helping the project, especially with those daily gamification pools, basically bringing volume, increasing to the projects that people love and the ones that they chose.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, there's no doubt that you put a lot of thoughts behind the project, and you're quite an intelligent young guy.
Appreciate it.
And so just to recap what you said there, Elijah, so you guys going through is it a private route right now? Is that what you're going through?
Yeah, private sale right
Okay.
now. We have a form that I can drop in the chat, or I'm going to resend it actually in the ModulX group chat, so people can go look at that. But once the form is filled out, the 35 BNB, we're basically going to whitelist all those wallets, so that those people can invest more than that 1 BNB, and their wallet will be able to bypass that 1 BNB max contribution.
Yeah, definitely. We go ahead and send to the room, and we'll pin it for you as well. And you're raising 35 BNB for the private. Is that right? You said so far you have raised 32 already?
Yes, around 30, 31 or 32. I have to recount it, but that's the number we're at right now.
Okay, all right. So you got a few more BNBs left to go on the private. So yeah, great job on that. And what is the vesting period on that?
Oh, the vesting period. Yeah, the vesting period, like I said, should be around a month. It's not going to be. I was explaining a little bit earlier. It was not going to be the normal investing. So you're going to still be able to buy and sell, just not on. Not through the blue chip tokens and not through the stablecoin tokens as well off launch. You can trade directly on those liquidity pairs through any of the partner tokens, so that's going to benefit the partner tokens as well.
Right. Okay, perfect. Now, and how many rounds are you doing before the pre-sale?
How many what?
Rounds? Like how many rounds? You got the
rounds?
private right now? Yeah. So
we're going to have the private pre-sale, and then we're going to have the public pre-sale. So the public pre-sale is going to start right after the private pre-sale. We have to whitelist those wallets, so we'll probably drop it the day after the private pre-sale fills. But we're basically just going to have 2 rounds, more of just the private and then the public.
Okay, and how many are you raising for the public one?
So the public is going to be, we have 50 BNB for the soft cap and 150 BNB as a hard cap.
And are you raising that? What platform, what launchpad are you doing it on?
We're actually not, like I said, we're actually not going to use the launchpad. We're going to use that pre-sale contract that we have. Basically, like I said, I'll be doing advertising to bring eyes to the project as well. And we're going to be bringing a couple of things that are going to, like I said, doxing or KYCing. I actually have something. I'm going to post this. I'm supposed to post this in my main chat, which I haven't really yet, but I do have an LLC. So that is that as well just got finalized. So we're gonna, but like I said, I want to make sure the project is as safe as possible. Make sure people understand that I'm a very transparent person, transparent owner, and I want people to basically put faith in the project, not me more of, because I want it to be driven by the community.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, if you can send in that the pre-sale link or the private sale, yeah, we'll pin it for you, man.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. What's in there right now? I'll probably send that in a couple minutes so I can continue talking a little bit about this. I would talk more about that liquidity insertion. So we actually were gonna personally, what the idea was initially for me was to have the NFT kind of have this type of sense of how the liquidity insertion is going to work, but we're capable of implementing it into the token itself as a staking pool, or staking in general. So that made more sense to us. Instead of bringing in the NFT aspect, we can use that for a different idea in the future if we needed to. But basically, what the idea of this liquidity insertion is, we're gonna have it so you can lock your tokens for a certain amount of time, or you can, like I said, the final idea of either having time period, like the 7 days or something like that along those lines to help protect liquidity is probably going to be implemented. And if you like withdraw beforehand, it'll be a 5% fee or something to help with those liquidity pairs, for example, or the tax can go broken down in a couple other things. But basically, the idea that what I'm trying to do is have those have you're capable of locking your tokens and having the rewards still build up and also get added to the liquidity pairs, or you can claim them or you can reinvest them. But basically having those rewards build up still within the liquidity pairs as well. Like having, let's say for example, you staked your ModX for in like the affinity pool, and you earn affinity, and affinity will earning that affinity would increase the affinity's liquidity pair as well, which overall that brings volume to affinity as well, but that'll also bring rewards to our holders too. The APR percentages, I've not like set yet. I think pretty sure it's going to depend. I have to talk to my contract developer, but I'm pretty sure it's going to depend on like how many people are staked currently. But I could be wrong. It might be a set percentage. But like I said, I have to talk to him about that a little bit. Do you have any
Okay, so
questions?
it's kind of like LP yield farming, correct?
Yeah, like that's why it's called a liquidity pool insertion.
Yeah, pretty much the same concept, right? With your traditional yield farming.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. So, all right, sounds good. And when do we expect the live the launch?
So we're I don't want to be giving exact dates just because, like I said, I want to be able to stick to my word. But the public sale contract should be dropping soon. We are just waiting for that private sale form to fill up. We only need like 3 to 4 BNB, but once it does, we're going to be capable, like I said, whitelisting. And then once we get that 50 BNB soft cap, we can more of set a date if we want to launch, or we can wait a little bit longer, like a couple days, or let's say a week, for example, and capable of trying to get to that 150 BNB hard cap, just so we can make sure every pair is going to be more backed up and more enhanced and better overall. So like I said, I'm not going to give a date, but we could say time frame wise within the next 2 weeks or so.
Next 2 weeks, okay. And I think there was some questions regarding, whether you're going to have an actual white paper coming out. Talking to
Yes.
you, Elijah, you definitely know what you're talking about. I think you have a lot of knowledge in the space, especially with the time frame that you've been in. Only you say a year and a half, so you're very knowledgeable in the space within the time frame. But when can the community expect a white paper or technical paper, so that way they can understand it a bit better?
For sure. The white paper is also actually going to be available at launch as well. I have a professional website developer working on the website and working on the white paper. We actually just updated the website like 3 days ago or so by the professional's website. He's still adding things to it for a more finalized addition towards launch. What you see right now with the website is basically just, we'll say, like a beta type of thing. The full blown, like, it's going to have obviously more pages and more interactive, so people can get to the D app and like read on the white paper, for example. But they will also be on launch as well, so people will be able to read more about what happens or how it works. I know a lot of information, and I know it's might be a little bit more tech savvy for some people. But once they see the contract live and they see how things work, they're more than likely going to understand it way quicker.
100%. Okay. Now I know that you touched on a lot of things already. The pool, the liquidity pool, etc., and how. But if you can recap a couple benefits. So what are the couple a few benefits that to hold ModulX token?
To hold it, okay. Basically, holding the token we have rewards, and being capable of having rewards when you hold a token, that in itself obviously is a benefit. But what having those arbitrage opportunities, what that's going to do is it's going to also increase rewards for these holders. So if you hold the token and over time people are arbitraging the contract more and more, the volume is going to increase over time, and that means the people are going to be getting more and more rewards. You can reinvest these rewards too. So if you have the more ModulX you have, obviously the more rewards you get. And the more rewards you get, the more you can reinvest, and it's going to be a tax-free reinvestment. So basically getting the bang for your buck and making sure that you get 100% of what you deserve for the rewards. That's just one benefit for holding. I can give me think for a second. So basically, another benefit for holding, like I said, I was bringing up the rewards, of course. If you hold, let's say, for example, ModX, and you get RocketFi for the reward, if you turn around and go to the RocketFi platform, you can put ModX as, once it launches, you can put ModX as your reward option. And ModX being a reward option for RocketFi will basically add a compounding effect. So you will be able to get basically the whole concept where you will trade across and you get tax-free rewards just throughout that whole time period. I mean, you get more rewards and more rewards over time. And as everything builds up, basically as liquidity pairs start getting higher in price and more people are holding the token, or more people are using that daily gamification pool, the holders are actually going to be the ones that benefit a lot from the daily gamification pool because they get rewards from these people trying to win basically once a day. We could have had it like once a week just so the pool can increase, but we wanted to be able to incentivize that trading portion. So we wanted it once a day so people throughout the day will trade. Maybe people will DCA or people will sell a token or two, for example. But like I said, the daily gamification pool brings volume as well, so that's going to be another benefit for the holders. I already touched a little bit on the reinvesting portion, but the variable buy and sell tax actually basically it's affected by your partner holders token or partner token or the blue chip or stablecoin token, right? So if you hold a certain amount of the other token and you're trying to buy ModulX or even sell ModulX, it'll be at a lower percentage. So basically, if you're holding, let's say, for example, BUSD and you're trying to buy with BUSD, then when you're trading over, that's going to add an incentive to just trade from BUSD to ModulX alone, and keeping both of those tokens to be able to either reinvest or to earn it, for example, will also be another benefit as well to the holders. Basically helping with just the overall growth of the token, bringing more the tax, bringing more value to the token as well, increasing the pools would basically overall help just the project. Those basically another thing that could more of benefit the holders, which will be not currently right when launch happens. Like I said, I brought it up a little bit after launch. If people decide to play the concept for the game I have, basically I can tell you guys the percentages, but they're going to be varied to change. The buyback and burn is 40%. There's going to be a monthly jackpot in the partner native token, which is going to be 10% to add extra buy volume for the partner native tokens. The daily is going to be a daily random player winning in ModX or RocketFi, which will also be 10%. 10% will be broken down across liquidity pool pairs. There will be a 5% RocketFi pool and a 5% ModulX pool. and we basically have 20% left over to add anything that we want to in there. So over that last 20%, what I've thought about putting into is actually the liquidity pair pool pairings. So we're going to be capable of having actually 30% go to across the liquidity pool pairings to increase that liquidity a lot more efficiently. So imagine if we have the game set at 50 cents per game. People play 10 games, it's $5. Or if people play 1,000 games, that would be like $50,000 or something, or you know what I mean. So overall, broken even if it was 10% of that, that would mean $5,000. $500 or so going into these pools, and if it's like I said daily, it'll be going into these pools every single day. So increasing those liquidity pool pairs is also one. There will be that benefit as well in the future, or the concept of it more of is there. So we can add that feature in more of any. We have a lot of ways to add that feature alone. Adding liquidity pairs, adding money to the liquidity pairs. So, like I said, since the game was just a concept, we actually have a couple more things that could do that. I don't want to be able to give it out because the game idea is something I stuck to, and the other ones I'm more of thinking about because we still can add those as well, but that's more of a maybe.
I see. Yeah. Thanks for the explanation there. Now let's talk about your token metric there. Am I seeing it correctly? 1,000 total supply?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. So your price point is going to be pretty high, right? I mean, there's just no meme token metric here.
Yeah. So basically, if with 1,000 tokens, at 100,000 supply, I'm pretty sure it's $10. So or 100,000 market cap. I'm sorry, 100,000 market cap. It should be like $10, and then at 1 million, it would be $100 per token. So once you get like 10 million to 100 million to market cap, that's gonna be where like $1,000, $10,000, or $100,000 per token type of thing hits. But keeping those, it's gonna be a very high price point in general. That's why we're gonna have that DApp, because there's gonna be multiple price points actually, depending on how big the liquidity pairs are. So if we have only 10% of the liquidity going into BUSD, and then we have 30% going into RocketFi, for example, then the price for the RocketFi pool is gonna be way more expensive than the BUSD pool. Obviously, over time, the BUSD pool can catch up to the RocketFi pool just by adding people buying and swapping on it. But overall, it'll be bigger until it catches up. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Okay, so so pretty much with that, what you said is pretty much your total supplies will be all in circulation. Then is pretty much it is.
Yeah. So for the beginning, that's why I was actually thinking about adding that buyback and burn, because making the token more scarce, and it adds value, of course. So over time, if I'm thinking about lowering the percent of the buyback and burn just to slow it down. I don't want there to be like 50 tokens burning a day and we only have 1,000. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to have maybe, let's say, 0.1% burn daily type of thing. So or like 0.1 type of thing. So like obviously over time it will be way more scarce, and over time people are going to have to buy in, and they won't be able to, if they miss their chance of getting 10 tokens, and those 10 tokens used to be worth $1,000. If it goes, like I said, almost a 20 million market cap, it'll be worth like 20K. So the max transaction limit would be 0.5 during basically just for the beginning. Like I said, we can take that out, but that'll be still implemented.
Right. Yeah, I think just to remind everyone here, even though the price point is high, but that's not what you guys should be looking at is the market cap really. 100,000, that's low. 100,000, that's pretty low. So
exactly.
All right, sounds good, Elijah. Okay, and you say you are planning to, you guys will get an audit, and you are planning to docs as well, correct? Before the launch.
Yes. I'm trying to get it before launch. Like I said, I'm spending my personal funds on this, so I have to deposit a couple of checks and stuff, just to get some money flowing right now. I had personal things go on a couple days ago or last week, so I have to make sure everything is set in my personal life. But like I said, I'm spending my personal funds on that. So it's either going to be right before launch or like a week after launch type of thing.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, just to recap, they're all trying to raise 50 BNB in the pre-sale, and it's going to be directly on their to their pre-sale contract. So there won't be no launch pad. And also they also raised 32 BNB already. So you're looking at a minimum of 82 or 85 BNB. Talking about soft cap there. Initial market cap is going to be around 100,000. Very well presented, Elijah. Man, you're very knowledgeable. It looks like it's very well thought out.
Yeah, I want to make sure everything is set, and I like when things are planned for sure. So making sure everything just comes together nicely is definitely one thing I focus on.
Yeah, perfect. And we look forward to see the white paper for sure. I think as well as the community, because sometimes a presentation like this, of course I can follow you, understand exactly what you're talking about. But oftentimes we have different people at different knowledge level, right? And so it's very hard for them to follow and understand exactly what you're talking about at times.
Got you. Yeah, that's why I want to make sure that you guys can stop me at any point, because I don't want there to be too much confusion over time and just questions after questions after questions that I could have answered. So I just want to make sure everything is clear. If I do get kind of sidetracked, of course you can stop me and let me know. Hey, this is my question again. Just want to remind you, because sometimes my brain does go like 1,000 miles per minute. So like I have a lot of things I can easily just kind of just go talk about. But I want to make sure that people just understand the concept. I don't want to be just talking and not have people understand what I'm trying to say to them. You know what I mean?
100%. What's beautiful about this concept here is that if you are like you said, if you are actively out there seeking for these projects to partner with and part of the community, you essentially have a lot of backing from this community right out the gate. So I think that helps the project ModulX. I think that's a great. I guess return on it. I guess I'm not sure what's the right word for it, but I guess that's a great incentive. Is that you have the community, different communities to back ModulX. So I guess that's a good thing for the project. Now the only thing is that, right, and the only thing that I guess I want to say advice, because I feel like you're very knowledgeable. But to think of is that, I guess be mindful on the partners. It has to benefit you somewhat, right? Because if the project is completely with no volume, that also can reflect back on you in a negative way as well.
Sure.
Even though you try to, I guess, help to bring volume to the partners that you're with, but I think if not implemented correctly or if not really thought out, that can in return can hurt the project as well.
For sure. I definitely agree with that. Try to make sure, obviously, all the partner projects that we pick are very bullish and they have things that are coming like to benefit the real world, instead of just having random utilities. We want the product basically to have value, not just in the DeFi space. We want that to have value outside the DeFi space. So majority of the products that we picked either aim towards that or are already in basically the works for it.
Yeah, I think RocketFi, I think that's a great project. I think BBR, who owns the BBR? I forgot the guy's name.
Huh?
BBR Reflect, is that Investors who runs that?
Yeah, Investment Maniac. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Investors. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think he came in for an AMA as well. Affinity. I think Affinity has a great project, man. I think long
Yeah,
term,
for sure.
I think Affinity has something going on great for them over there. Actually, the funny thing that you brought it up because lately I've been looking at them again. We had an
Mhm.
AMA with them around a year ago, and I think they're way undervalued. I love the idea behind it.
Yeah, for sure. Like the BUSD and the ADA rewards is definitely a huge thing. I've loved Affinity for a while, like way before it even turned to Affinity. I had Safe Affinity, and like I had to go through the whole migration and everything, but they was really smooth. So that's definitely one reason why I like that team, and that's one reason why they were like one on the top of my list for sure.
Yeah, I think that has a lot of potential. I really do. I think it's a matter of time there. All
Yeah,
right,
so
sounds
that's
good.
another reason why I picked them.
Right. All right, I like.
Hello.
Oh, hey. Did I get cut off?
Yeah, for a second.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I was saying. Did we cover pretty much everything there, Elijah? Is there anything else you want to speak on before we take some questions?
Um, no, not necessarily. I could obviously go on for a little bit longer and tell you guys about things that I'm not supposed to, but I definitely will wait on that for those announcements.
Yeah, man. You know what? Since your project right now, I know right now it's pretty. I guess right now you're only the private sale stage, and you don't have the white paper out. Looks like you're
Mm.
revamping the website as well. I'd love to bring you on back on, man. I don't care if we do it for free right before the pre-sale, just so that way, when you have things buttoned back up, I'd love to hear more about it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, let's bring you back on before. You said around 2 weeks from now, right?
Okay. This is right before what's called. Yeah, we definitely can stay in contact for sure, just so we can get everything lined up with our schedules and make everything solid.
Yeah, 100%, man. Especially a young guy like you, age of 20. I mean, I hope you succeed, man. I hope you succeed at this with this project here. Age of 20, that's pretty young. Hopefully, you can set some example for these crypto people here. If you can
Mm.
do it, anyone can do it, right?
Huh?
I say if you can do it at the age of 20, anyone can do it here, right?
Right. Right. Just put your mind to it. Just make sure you're sticking to your word and sticking. Don't put too much work ahead of you that you can't take. Make sure everything you can handle. Make sure you can handle everything that you're putting on your plate.
100%, 100%. All right, Elijah. Well, I think let's take some questions.
For sure.
All right. With that, Mike, I think he has a few questions from the community. Go ahead, brother.
I do. Thank you, Seattle. Thank you, Elijah. Great presentation, man. Absolutely. I love that. Very well detailed. And we do have a couple of questions across Telegram and Twitter. So I'm going to start over on Twitter here, brother. First one is coming in from Woody. And actually, if anybody has a question they'd like to ask on voice, please feel free at any time between questions to hop on and do so. But first one is over on Twitter from Woody. This question is, what are your thoughts on NFTs from ModulX, and what potential features would you assign to them?
Yeah, so I always I brought up the idea. They're on the table, but we haven't decided fully if we're gonna have them. But one of the features that we basically I thought about the liquidity insertion portion, but like I said, we just gonna have that as a staking pool. But another idea we're gonna have with the NFT would be basically adding a couple extra those daily gamification pools. It will add basically a chance to win. For example, instead of just having that one chance every day, you'll have maybe, let's say, for example, you have 5 tickets or 5 chances to win every single day. So that's just one thing that we thought about. I don't want to say too much about the NFT just because they're not necessarily something that we're focused on yet. That's a different department than we're thinking, but definitely something that can be added for sure.
Awesome, appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Best way to always inject those sometimes is maybe through a game, like you said, that you're culturing there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next
Something
question.
like
I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead, Elijah.
I was saying another thing we could do as well is like if we do implement the game concept, you can maybe buy them for predetermined tickets that would be on sale type of thing. So instead of you spending $5 for 10 games, $5 for 10 games, you would spend, let's say you spend $2.50 for a 50% discount for the NFT that comes with 5 games, for example.
100%. Yeah, there's so many aspects with the NFTs that you can incorporate into the contract and back into the project. It's absolutely so much. So with the next question rolling in from John Lex here from Telegram, is about your taxes. With stated on your website there, taxes are actually lower depending on how much ModX we hold. So can you break this down a little bit? Is there like some sort of minimum you have to hold to get a lower tax? And what is the lower tax? What's the lowest you could get?
Got you. So it's actually supposed to be the more of the partner token, or the more you hold of those liquidity pairs. The more you hold of the liquidity pairs, basically, let's say for example, it's BUSD, which I used RocketFi for an example earlier, but I want to use a different one just so people can understand a little bit more simply. Let's say you have $100 of BUSD and you're holding $100 BUSD. Basically, the buy and sell tax would go from being a regular 7% buy and sell tax to 6%. Basically, it's going to go up throughout the percentages. And let's say like it's 6% is at 100, 5% is 500, 1,000 is 4%, 1,500 is 3%, 2,000 is 2%, and then let's say like 3,000 is 1%. The lowest tax you can get is 1%, but there isn't a transfer tax, so you're capable of just transferring them between wallets if you'd like as well. But what that basically does is it allows people to, if they have multiple wallets, they'll be able to trade. Let's say you have BUSD in a different wallet, you'll be able to trade ModX or send over ModX to that wallet, or vice versa, send BUSD or whatever you're trying to use for the variable buy and sell tax over to the wallet, and that's going to decrease the buy and sell tax for the like I said, just not the buys, the sales as well. So those taxes will still get broken down as they're supposed to, and get this to be the same tax rate done throughout every single percent that gets changed as a variable buy and sell tax.
Oop, I was muted there. Sorry. Perfect. I appreciate it down there, brother. Next question is coming in from Crypto Gabriel. He stated that 95% of the total contribution from the private presale will be used as liquidity. Mm-hmm. What do you have allocated for the last 5%?
The 5% more will be for marketing development. Like I brought it up a couple of times. I don't like, actually I didn't, but I don't personally like being the one that makes decisions. And I also was token to be more about the community. So all the things is going to go right back to the community. I don't have there's no dev fee or dev wallet as well. I'm investing just like you guys are going to be. I got into the private. I wanted to, like I said, keeping it very open and honest. But I'm only going to do one bag until after launch, just I don't want to sit there and be filling as much BNB as I want to, because like that's not fair. Because people obviously there has to be getting the word out, and getting that buy volume on launch will be a lot better for the token as well. So I'll be saving a lot of my funds for launch. But like I said, I'm not going to have any team wallet, no dev fee, no dev wallet. That 5% is going to be used for marketing and development for sure.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Next one's rolling in from Michael Bonds. And we might have touched on this earlier, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but on the 7% buy in and out tax, can you break that down what each part of that tax is getting allocated to?
Yeah. So basically it's going to be split up into around 4 different places, right? It's going to be 25% of it will be for the RocketFi Smart Reflections. That'll be broken down into 3 different pools, and that's going to be 10% for general Smart Rewards RocketFi royalty, 5% RocketFi pool, 5% ModulX pool, and the 5% rotating partner pool. There will be a 40% dual rewards, which will be RocketFi and BNB rewards or the rotating partner. 20% for the swap gamification pool, and 15% for marketing.
I appreciate that breakdown, Elijah. Next question is rolling in from Jaden here is, what are some of the classifications one must meet to become one of your partners?
So that is still, I'm going to have a form for the partners to be able to fill, or for possible partners to fill out. We're capable of making any liquidity pair that we want to, because the space is decentralized. So partners are more of just for visibility and to be able to obviously get a better reputation throughout the crypto space as well. Like I said, I'll have a form. It'll basically the requirements more of, like I said, it's going to be we want the projects to have a real life use case or planning on having a real life use case. Majority of projects that things that don't have a real life use case, it's harder for them to thrive, and it's harder for people from outside of the crypto community to want to come into the crypto community. So what we want basically is we want projects that help with changing that aspect as well by adding utilities that basically will be like real world stuff. Like, let's say, for example, credit cards or debit cards or swaps or things like that. Or even a stable coin type of thing, for example. We want basically something that other people can use, not just crypto investors as well. That's one reason why I thought about having a game, because bringing in gamers is also is a pretty big community. So if I touched up a little bit on the older school stuff, that's Tetris is a pretty big game, and the concept as well. So basically that's going to incentivize just people coming over to the crypto communities as well, getting into crypto. That's one main requirement. Obviously, we want people doxed between us. We don't have to have it publicly. We're gonna have like a video. We can have like a video chat and obviously proof of your information, not necessarily information, but like just who you are a little bit, just to make sure you say who you say you are. Just to add security and to add safety onto the project and investors as well.
Well said. Yeah, absolutely. The gaming community is absolutely massive. And crypto as a whole, barely tapping into 4 to 5% of the world in general. So the biggest things you always see is educating the new investors to come on board and learning how to do anything. So suggestions is absolutely for if you could maybe add in some sort of educational aspect to onboarding your new investors that are coming from a gaming aspect or anywhere really, how to set up a wallet, how to buy tokens, maybe even how to stake, and all that could be hugely beneficial as well.
For sure. That sounds really good.
All right, let's see what we got here, brother. Next one's coming in from Jaden as well. Is you talked about your community being able to vote. What are some of the requirements you need to be able to vote? Is it holding a certain amount of tokens or just being part of the community?
Just being a part of the community more of. We want people to be able to send the pool always to their projects. Just respectfully, we want them to be able to be like, how people send a RocketFi pool or Affinity pool to their respective group to help with them getting votes. That's kind of the aspect that we want. We could obviously have like a wallet specific one throughout the DF, but that's just more coding, and it's easier to have the overall community decide on what they like as well, because it gives an idea of what projects, what people are looking at, and what they are probably invested in.
Exactly. All right, next one's rolling in from Fig Lethal. I hope I said that right, Fig. Is touching back on your partners here. Could you retouch on who you're partnered with currently and who you're hoping to onboard for the future?
Yeah, so currently we're partnered with Ying and Reflect and Tyrant. That's the for sure partners. We have talked to Investomaniac and he's on board, but we haven't got any like percent breakdowns done yet because they are, like I said, they are thinking about version 2. Not actually not thinking, but they are going to be doing a version 2. So we are going to wait on that. Like I said, we have Affinity as well. We have to talk to Chris at Affinity, but he seems pretty I guess excited, or not necessarily excited, but on board for sure. So it's just more of, we have to explain the details to him. Then we'll have the stable coins and the blue chip coins like XRP, BUSD, thinking about Ethereum as well. And also, if you do think about this, and all these liquidity pairs will impact the overall price of ModX. So if one of these liquidity pairs just take off, that's going to help ModX take off easily. And then, like I said, if let's say BNB takes off, that's going to bring every project that's connected to BNB liquidity pairs, which is basically every product that I'm going to be connecting to, it's going to bring their value up, which brings our value up because we're also connected to BNB as well. And then it's just going to increase the value even more because we're also connected to all the tokens that are also going for BNB going up. So I just wanted to bring up that aspect as well.
100%. So you said you raised between 31 and 32 BNB currently onto your private sale. How long has that private sale been going currently right now?
The private sale has been going for, what's today, 28th? I think it was 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks.
Half weeks?
Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe 3.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let me scroll through these here, but I think we pretty much covered everything. Question. Let me just roll through Twitter one last time real quick. Yeah, that's about it, my man. If nobody else wants to jump on and ask their question on voice, I appreciate all of the answers there, Elijah, and now we'll kick it back to Seattle. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone, for the questions. Yeah, Elijah, let us know when you are getting closer to the pre-sale. Let's bring you back on. I love to see the development and, how everything works out.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good, man. I like being on here. You guys are very chill people, and I do enjoy talking. So being on here is definitely an opportunity for me.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking through your profile there. I saw there was a video of you hitting that the punching bag, not the punching bag, but the punching machine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If you beat me at that any time, Elijah, you get a free AMA.
Let's go.
Let's go. I got you. I can do that.
I'll tell you what. So Seattle apparently is close to Oregon. I go down to Oregon. Man, I forgot what's the place where all the tourists go down there from Seattle.
Portland?
What's the place?
Portland?
No, not Portland. There's like a little beach area.
Oh, like Seaside.
Seaside. So
yeah.
I was over there one year, a couple of years ago, and they had the machine over there. And apparently they had a competition going on for like a couple of hours or something like that. I'm not a big guy, but I've trained all my life, right? So I came in, and there was a guy in a wheelchair. He's looking at me. He's like, let's see what you got. Man, I beat everybody one hit. It was like 980 something.
Oh, my goodness.
So anytime, if you can beat me, we can go live. And anytime you beat me, Elijah, you get a free AMA here.
All right, bet. That's definitely my goal. I'm going to be training every day for this now.
Now because I used to train boxing. It's not about how strong you are really. It's about the technique, right? Usually your punch comes from your hip all the way out to your arm. So, but mostly the power comes from your hip. So if you're not trained, then I guess it's hard to hit very hard. But it's all about technique, really.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
All right. Well, hey, with that say, I really appreciate you being here, Elijah. I think you're a very intelligent guy, very ambitious, especially with only 20 years of age. So I look forward to see your success, man. I really do. And I appreciate everyone here attending AMA as well. Again, this is not financial advice, and there's no commitment to the team. With that, we do have the link for the pre-sale, the private sale pin. So you guys check that out. And whenever you have the pre-sale going on, let us know. We pin that as well.
All right, sounds good. As soon as I get the sale fills, we'll get the address and I'll send it right over.
Perfect. All right, Elijah. Well, if you don't have a last word for us, Mike's going to come back on and he will do the giveaway.
All right.
All right, let's get it, guys. We have a $20 giveaway today just on the wheel alone, as well as followed up with a $20 best question. Still ongoing, $25 up for grabs for Twitter. And after this, I'm going to get this uploaded to YouTube, sent over to you, Elijah, and there's going to be another $15 opportunity to win over there as well.
Sounds good.
Let's get this shuffled up. Boom, what's it going to be? Clara Pontu, congratulations, won yourself $20. Seattle, I know you've been gunning for this one, bro. You are 3 names away from that one that time. Oh man, so 100% congratulations, Claire. And like I said, Elijah, we're going to get this thing uploaded to YouTube ASAP. And I had a little issue last time, so hopefully it doesn't give me an issue this time. And we'll get that over to you. Sorry.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Elijah, one last question now. Is your private sale everything on chain, right? The contract and everything, or is that pretty much off chain there?
Is it on chain or off chain? It's going to be on the Binance Smart Chain.
Okay, your private sale right now. There's a contract, right, where everybody can see like how many people have bought into it.
No, not yet. So the contract hasn't been released yet. So the people that are filling out those forms haven't contributed yet. The forms is basically how much you want to contribute. And so until that cap hits. So basically someone fill in that they put they want to put 2 BNB in, and basically when the address drops, that's when they're going to be able to invest that 2 BNB. Right now, we actually had another sale beforehand for RocketFi Reflect, but since we were capable of doing the contract, we decided to basically do it differently. We wanted to be able to have the pre-sale contract take care of everything for us, to make it more fluent and make it more efficient for everybody investing inside of the pre-sale. So we decided to basically sway away from any like launch pads. We're just going to do it ourselves, basically.
Okay, yeah, okay. Because I was looking at the docs there, your private sale, and I didn't see the contract. Okay, so that's just pretty much people who are interested in buying. So the contract is not there.
No, not until we have 35 35 being contributed for the forms. That's but personally, right now, like the BNB I have raised already, like in the wallet would be I have 14 BNB in that wallet from the previous sale, from the RocketFi Reflect sale. Those people we already wrote down all their information, like their wallet address and their Telegram name, so they will be already like whitelisted and their funds will be accounted for. And then the people that are going to invest once the public sale address hits, those people will also get whitelisted, and then they'll be able to invest their BNB.
Now, just out of curiosity there, Elijah. Now, why would you need a contract, like an actual contract for a private sale? Couldn't you just say, "Hey, send this to my wallet, etc." And
yeah,
I'll
the pre-sale contract actually has its own functions. The ModulX contract is 6 different contracts working together. Pre-sale contract is its own contract, and that contract is going to basically add liquidity to all the liquidity pairs that we decide, and it's going to airdrop the tokens at the same time. Basically, at a push of a button, once the contribution hits a point that we like, we're going to set the launch date, have everyone ready for it, and that's when everything will kick off. We wanted to have, like I said, to have that contract. Basically, we want it to be more safe. So we want to be able to watch it over closely, and we want to be able to have it so bots couldn't get in off of launch as well. So we're not going to have it launched normally. We have that contract just so it's kind of like a integration kind of thing. Like you send your tokens over, and when they relaunch, usually it does that same exact concept. It'll airdrop the tokens, and it'll add liquidity to these liquidity pairs at the same time. The reason why we swayed away from it more of, like I said, was just to keep it more safe, and we want everyone to have equal opportunity off launch.
That's actually awesome. I'm glad that you're taking that necessary step to ensure this safety for the investors. So that's really cool of you, because I do see some private, especially the private rounds. Usually they just pick a wallet. Hey, send this here, and we'll send you the tokens, right?
Right.
So yeah, no, I appreciate that step, the safety measure into your contract, like a legit contract. So that way, I think that speaks volume as far as how you operate. So I appreciate that.
Of course.
Cool. All right, Elijah. Well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and hear in depth about your project. And I look forward to see you again before the sales.
Likewise, me too, man. Can't wait to be on here again. I would love to be able to update you guys on definitely the developments that is going to be coming. Can't wait till I actually can be able to update you guys more of, just so I can put out more information, and everything will be coming together really, really nicely in your guys' mind once all the information comes out 100%.
Awesome.
Awesome, brother. Well, it was really good having you in here tonight, and we will see you guys all in the next one. Elijah, as soon as this is over, I'm going to get right on the process of uploading it to YouTube and get you a copy ASAP. Thanks, brother.
For sure. All right, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on here.
All right, no problem, brother. All right, well, see you guys. Thanks, Mike, and thanks everyone for being here again at USA Crypto Group, and we'll see you in the next one.
Boom.
Boom.